These are the beta playing cards and they are currently live on Kickstarter. There's two different versions, one from United States Playing Cards Company and the other from Make Playing Cards, this being the standard version and this being the holo version. And of course, in this review, I'll show you both. And if you want to pick up these playing cards for yourself, check out the link in the description below or in the pinned comment. The front of the tuck box on the standard version says Indecx Horizon Playing Cards Volume 3, and it has some ad copy at the bottom. The one long edge has the producer's logos, and the other has Indecx Volume 3 Beta. The back of the tuck box is going to have the contents of the cards and a QR code, plus one of the back designs. On the bottom, you get some ad copy, and the top says Indecx. And the large inner tuck flap says Extra Awesome. Then for the holo edition, you're going to see the top of the tuck box has the definition of a beta, and it says Indecx Horizon Playing Cards Beta Edition. The one long edge will be the same as the first deck, but this long edge says Indecx Horizon Playing Cards. For the back design on this one, you're going to have a beta fish swimming in front of the back design, and it's holographic. The bottom has a little bit of ad copy. The top says 003, and the large inner tuck flap says Super Limited Edition. First, let me show you the standard back design. Absolutely beautiful, and everyone has a different tail of a different beta fish on it. Absolutely stunning all the way through. There's 52 different designs, one for each one, which in the playing cards community, we call a Franken deck. For, of course, Frankenstein, because that was just a mashup of a bunch of extra parts, and that's how they made Frankenstein. This is a Franken deck because you have a ton of different cards that make up one deck. Now, of course, for cardistry, that is going to make this extremely fun to use. Plus, if you are any type of fish lover or a beta lover specifically, this is definitely going to be for you. Or if you're like going to be a marine biologist, this is a super cool display piece to have at your house or in your office. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a cool back design, but when you take the same design and you make it holographic, it just makes it better. I mean, fanning this deck, don't get me wrong, looks super cool, but fanning this deck, complete game changer of how shiny that is. Choose any card at random and I guarantee you that card looks beautiful when shimmering in the light. And before we got into the faces, I had to do this. Normally when I go through the face cards in a deck review, I don't show every individual card because they're usually pretty much the same. This one has every single card you have to see. For instance, this Joker has a pun of much beta, and then here's your second Joker, and your Ace of Spades. On the Two of Spades, it has a card that says from Indecx to Spades, which means this is literally an Indecx card. For the Three of Spades, you get a AAA battery. Truth be told, on the Four of Spades, I'm not sure what this one is, but if you do know, let me know in the comments below. On the Five, you get a high five. On the Six of Spades, this is currently flipped upside down. I'm not going to turn it the other way, simply because I'm a Christian and that goes against my beliefs. 7 says good luck. 8 has a partial hole in it. 9 of Spades says 3 times 3. All the 10s are now X's for Indecx Studio, because X is the Roman numeral for 10. You get a blind Jack. Not entirely sure how Bohemian Rhapsody has anything to do with the Queen of Spades. And your King of Spades is a Burger King. Your Ace of Diamonds says good luck. All of your diamonds and hearts are going to just say the actual name of the card. So it'll say 4 of diamonds or 5 of diamonds or 6 or 7 or anything else all the way through the entire thing, even for the court cards as well. The other thing you'll see is that this is not just standard red pips. You'll see that there's actually some wavy lines in there that makes it look more like it's going to fit the rest of the deck. The court cards have been recolored, and specifically for the Queen of Diamonds, you also get some shades. The King of Clubs has a sword and says Carl. The Queen of Clubs has the Roman numerals for 12, and if you look really closely right below her neck has a 9 of Hearts reveal. The Jack of Clubs says hit the road, Jack. This one says cardistry advisory explicit content. This one has most of the 9 of Clubs blocked off and just says 9 at the bottom. For the 8 of Clubs, you get an analog clock. For the 7 of Clubs, it's like you're playing a casino and got 3 7s. You have one of the King's faces in the middle of the 6 of Clubs. You get a dice roll of the 5. For the 4 of Clubs, you get 4 leaf clovers. For the 3 of Clubs, you get an ace and a 2 of Clubs in the middle of it. And for the 2 of Clubs, the bottom pip was removed and has a question mark in the middle. Ace of Clubs says Indecx Horizon Beta Edition, and the hearts are going to be just like the diamonds all the way through, where it just says what the actual name of it is, where the cards are still red, and it has the letters in yellow this time, where last time they were in blue. And the Ace of Hearts says extra life. The other thing that's nice about these faces is where it says Indecx on the side. That means when you fan them, you get a nice cigar band all the way around. Your one ad card is for It's Design Studio in Infinity Soloware, and this is what the back looks like. For your other ad card, you get a daisy on the back and the definition of one. For the holo version, you'll get the same card, but this time when it comes to the ad side, it's actually holographic. This is the Make Playing Cards version, which means there's only 55 cards in this one instead of 56 because they don't actually produce 56 card decks. So they don't actually have a daisy card in this one. All the face designs are actually going to be the same. The thing that's going to be different is it's not in your regular new deck order. This time when you go through, you still start with your 2 jokers, then you go to your spades, ace to king, and then you go to your diamonds, ace to king, and you'd expect to go to your clubs king to ace, except for you go to your clubs ace to king, and to your hearts, ace to king. But outside of that, the faces are all the same, which I will say surprised me. I did expect on the aces and the court cards for there to be some holographic ink. But in all fairness, with how beautiful this back design is, I'm not super stressed about it. Now let's start with the USPC deck and see if this deck can handle well in addition to its looks. We'll start with the Faro shuffle. Faro shuffled fine, not really any issues there. Nothing in particular that made it stand out, but it won't be an issue for anybody. When it comes to the top to bottom instead of bottom to top, that is much easier. Definitely a win when it comes to doing it from top to bottom. For the MPC version, we'll see if it can Faro from bottom to top, and Faroed easier when it came to bottom to top for this version than it came to either of the other Faro shuffles. And we'll see if top to bottom does the same for this MPC deck, and top to bottom is the more difficult one of the two. So that one, I mean, it still worked, but it's probably the hardest of the 4 Faro shuffles that I did. Granted, it was still pretty easy. For the standard deck on the finish, stock, and feel, this deck is going to glide beautifully. The finish of the cards is just the coating that goes on the backs and the faces to make sure that they can glide smoothly, and clearly when it comes to that, there's absolutely no issues whatsoever. The stock is the paper the cards were printed on, and this one is going to be a little bit thicker than your average bicycle deck, but honestly, it really doesn't make a ton of a difference. If you like your normal B-stock playing cards, this is going to be great for you. And lastly, when it comes to the feel of this deck, some cards have more malleability and some don't. Some moves that will be able to better symbolize that would be the card spring, which is for clearly decks that have or need more malleability. Same for things like under pressure like that. And I'll only do it from the other direction just so you can see what it looks like. That is beautiful. Now, clearly both of those moves are going to require cards that have more malleability. Ones that have less malleability are usually moves that, like this, that is ATM and Legalove. Those are those 2 moves there. The other one that I like to do just with snappy decks is backdrop. So if I were to lean one way, malleable or not malleable, buttery or snappy, this one is buttery. And before I get into the rest of it, let's do under pressure. Oh my word, I'm in love. Okay, besides that, now let's check out the finish on these cards. They glide beautifully, no issues when it comes to that whatsoever. When it comes to the stock, these 2 decks are gonna be pretty well similar, and when it comes to the feel, I honestly might even say this one is even more buttery and more malleable than the last one. So if you're doing moves that are going to require a lot of pressure, or you're a beginner cardist or magician, this is going to be a great deck for you because it'll be really easy and it feels like it's already broken in coming right out of the box. If you want to pick up these cards for yourself, check out the first link in the description below or the link in the pinned comment and send you straight to the Kickstarter where you can pick up these beautiful playing cards. Now, if you're not a fan of the decks that have 52 different cards, they even have a deck on there that has all of them that are the same. All the same one beta fishtail. So go ahead and check out the Kickstarter. I'll link it right here. And if you want to check out another video, you can click right there. Subscribe for more deck reviews just like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is CPM, signing off.